Hello everyone, welcome to this new tutorial on Falcon BMS. Today we're going to speak about Weapon Delay Planner. Although I don't have the interface right now popped up for WDP as we call it. I just want to at least give you a context on how to use it, especially in T or campaign environment. So I'm going to take here a sample about what we've got in a standard campaign that you would launch on Falcon BMS and see how you could make use of WDP, so Weapon Delay Planner. So first thing first, you start with context. So here, for example, I have the campaign select at least fragging the flights for me, and I've selected a spot. I'm going to be a lead on an OCS strike. Is basically the first hours of the campaign, and this one is a very risky one, but it's for the purpose of the tutorial that we're going to visualize that. So what are we going to do? It's very easy at first. Once you've selected your spot, the first thing I would go is make sure you select IFF and com plan. You save that, and once you've done that, I would definitely go into the autosave. Save that, and that's it. Make sure you're on stop so the timer doesn't continue while you're using your WDP. And now let's go to WDP. So we're going to do a global presentation and also see how we're going to use it with the current mission. So the first thing I would set here is to go and select. So I've already have this one, which is the autosave.cam. Always be careful because there's always a TAC, which is a TE based mission, and a CAM, which is a campaign based mission. So here I would go into the autosave.cam. It's going to ask me if I want to select the Korean theater, which is the case here. And the first screen you're going to have that will pop up is either this one, or you might have to select your camp before that. So for example, I'm going to reset that for just for your understanding on the first time you're going to use it. And also it's convenient if you want to switch side, especially in TVT environment, you need to understand this. So if you go into the settings, there is here a button that's called reset side. So you wanna select that and hit apply. So next time when you load up a campaign file, as we're doing it now, it will first ask us which site we want to select. So here we're going to select Republic of Korea, and then what we're going to do is select the package. So as you can see here, we have the package number here, 2451, and then we Cajun 2. So let's go back to our WDP, and so we're going to hit 2451, find it, and then we're going to hit Cajun 2. As we already saved the data cartridge from the campaign, we're going to say yes, we want to use the one that is currently saved in the Falcon folder. So it's going to load up the basic, I would say, DTC that is provided with the mission. And we're going to start from that to load up and change some of the stuff that we want here. So the base, I would say, charts from or page from WDP is going to be this one. This is the data card. This is the one that you can actually extract on the knee board that you have in 3D if you show the pilot's leg. So it will load up a couple things here that we're going to use as part of the mission. So what is important, and I would consider here, is that all of that is basically going to be the information that Falcon gives to WDP through the mission campaign and also any file that is being saved. So just a quick understanding on how those color codes work. What is yellow is editable. What is I would say white or gray is non-editable. So here I could actually change a couple of things. If I wanted to add names and change that whatever you want, yes, you can. All right, so what's the information here actually? You're going to have the ATIS from the runway. So this is the weather information, that the METAR from the airfield. Again, you're going to have the departure, arrival, alternate in terms of flight plan. You're going to have the TACAN channels that are linked to those airfields, elevation of the airfield, and the current runway. You can change that if you think that the weather is going to, or at least the tower is going to grant you another runway, especially depending on the current wind heading. So here, if you're not familiar to Meter, I would definitely advise you to go and look at the Meter format, and especially here, you can see that the wind is currently 360 10 knots, and the available runways are either 27 or 09. Actually, 27 could be more suited for a 360. So if I want to change that, and I know 27 is going to be the one used, I can definitely go for the 27, and same thing when I'm back. So these are the fields you can change if you want to. Same thing for the laser configuration. You can change that, and it will actually reflect in your configuration file. The task is not editable. The TACAN channels actually is the air-to-air TACAN channel. This is this thing that you can change. The transmit on the data, well, let's call it data link, or maybe or IDM here. Actually, the proper word is IDM. Is going to be indicated here for each package. So those are all the flights that we've got within the package. So we're Cajun 2. And package number is reflected here, and we know what type of aircraft, what's going to be our uniform frequency, the tactical one, what's going to be in the intra-flight, so the Victor one, the IDM, so we're going to be index 20, so I'm going to be 21, then 22, 23, 24 for my wingmans, and the type of mission that I'm tasked with. And all the other information on the right knee board basically is, again, information mission here to autosave, because obviously I've named it autosave when I've loaded it, and then we've got our weapons that are loaded here, and so those are pre-calculated, and you can change the type of takeoff that you want to have. So either full afterburner, which I would definitely recommend, and 30-degree angle as a pull-up for the takeoff. You will have the rotation speed, the refuel speed, the military power input and percentage that you will see on the RPM, and military climb. This is the recommended speed and Mach, equivalent Mach, that you need to keep for the climb to be the most efficient. Then you can here manually select the bingo, and we'll see later on how we calculate that. And then we're going to know that we're going to target this one. Ammo dump is the one that we want to aim for, and that's about it. I mean, then you've got all the weapons configuration that you will see in your weapons page in the plane. You can select that and change some of the features if you want to go for CCRP, CCIP, so your profiles 1, profile 1, profile 2, and then you change basically here the settings that you want. If you want to ripple 1 space and the spacing, all of those things that you have in the weapons page are reflected here, and you definitely can change that. Here, if you want to pop-up attack, so it's going to reflect here for VIP. VIP will see that here. And then the tankers. So for now we have Cooper 2. That is probably the closest one. I think this is the greenish thing that you can see here. And you can also select the second tanker, and you just have to hit that select box and select the one that is currently active. Currently we have only one tanker, so we're going to only select Cooper 2. AWACS is going to be selected, and JSTAR is going also to be displayed here with the UHF frequency and sunrise, sunset. So basically the active times that you've got. Here, in terms of hardware threats, I do recommend that you change that depending on the threats that you've got and that you will encounter, and definitely populate the minimum abort range just to give you a heads up on when you should be going defensive and not break that minimal distance, because obviously yeah, there's a good chance, especially if the plane is equipped or the enemy plane is equipped with fox trees, that it will have fired before you get the notification on the RWR. Then rules of engagement, probably for the flight lead or package lead to actually give you some rules. You can handwrite or at least type stuff here, and then you've got information that is pre-populated based on the mission, where you have departure, destination, alternate tower frequencies, and sometimes it also displays the ATIS frequencies if there is an ATIS available on the airbase. So that's about it for this page, which is called a data card. You can save DTC. You can go for a different flight, print, load. I would say if someone already has a data card that he has saved from the Weapon Planner, you can actually load it up from here. Save it to distribute then to your wingman if you got already something prepared with the Weapon Delivery Planner. Card directory, this is just to select where you've got the cards. And then this one is important, is the update keyboard. It actually goes and update the bitmaps that will be displayed within the cockpit when you display the legs from the pilot. So this is very important. Then you've got the Korea theater selected here because we are on KTO, reload, the weather, and all of that. I'm not really using those, to be honest, but anyway. Briefing. It will give you a bit more information based on the briefing that Falcon will give you. The important here information that you should keep is what type of threats you will actually encounter. It will give you a list of threats such as the ground threats, the fighters, the bombers, the supports, the helicopters that might be operating within the area. And that's always interesting to keep a track of that so you know what type of threats you might be encountering. It's not showing you the fighters, to be honest, right now, but there might be more than only those ones, to be honest. So always double check that with what you have as information within Falcon. This is a nice to have information, but always double check it with what you have within the campaign information, or ATO or OOB. That's probably what you could actually select. All right, now coordination card. This is for very advanced users, I would say, power users of the Weapon Delivery Planner. This gives more insight on how you want to organize and plan your holding patterns, the way you want to organize the combat air patrols, for example, and all of that. So this is very powerful. You can go into information here and know where you have your holding points, at what altitude, when you need to push, what the type of is. You have some information that actually are reflected in the page that we in the data card here, but you've got more visual things about the holding pattern, for example, things that you want probably to change the picture here and have something that is more that is reflecting what you want. You can have code words for all of that. So those are reference, I would say, for code words. You can have also transition altitudes. It will give you when you need to switch your barometer, standard barometer, to the ground barometer, and all of that. This is very advanced. To be honest, I never use it. It's nice to have. But it's almost never used. At least on all the flights I've done, I never used it. So it's nice to have if you have something that is planned. I would say as a power user level in Falcon. I would say most of the people that would use it are probably in virtual squadrons. It might be helpful for them to actually get that as a almost real life or real almost close to the real thing. Now the next one that I'm going to display is the map. So the map is actually reflecting what you have in the Falcon UI, so the interface. So a couple of things here. You can select what you want to see here. You can select black or the text color if you want it to have black or white, depending on the depending on what you have here. And one thing that is important is, for example, I want to select only the air defenses that are available on the enemy side, and I'm going to check what type of threats, and it will actually auto-populate the threat steer points that will exist in the area. So if you select, for example, say the older type of SAM systems on the Russian side that could exist or at least be known from the start of your mission. I would actually hit first clear, so you have cleared out the information here, and then you go to auto threat steer points. So what does it mean? It means that it's actually populating the threats that WDP thinks are relevant for your mission. To be honest, I would have added those ones, but to be very clear, I think we're hitting a limit where we have a certain numbers of rings we already have displayed here that is probably over limit compared to what we can sustain in the range that is allocated to the threat steer point area. So you remember from 1 to 99 waypoints you have available in the DataCard range, and only a small subset is actually dedicated for the threat steer points. So we cannot add that many threat steer points. So the WDP is actually selecting the ones that are probably the most relevant. Now, what we're going to do, so we already got that, and there is one thing we could have is, for example, add a box over corporate 2, for example. So what I would have is here, always on the top left corner of the box that you see here, you will have that box that will pop up, and you can actually add it to line 1. So what it will do, it will draw the box where Copper 2 is actually doing his patterns in rotations, basically. So this is nice to have, especially if it's close to the enemy area. To be very honest, we're not going to use it in that type of mission because the airbase is closer than Copper 2. But it's nice to have it. I needed to show you anyway. So once you've got that, you can save into the data cartridge. It's going to say that it's saved on my profile, because when it comes to the campaign, it's always saved in your main profile. When it comes to a target, to a tactical engagement, so TE, it will be saved in the mission.ini that you have. So press OK, and you see autosave ini is also saved. So there we go. That's usually what I do. And then you can go back to the data card and see the extract of the map that you have here in the lower right corner. If you want to change and don't have the visuals of the sea and the land, and you want to have a black and white map, that's something feasible. You just have to click on the map, and you see it removes all the information, gives you only the coast, border lines, and keeps the threat circles that will be displayed within Falcon. So that's about it for this map stuff, and then comes the data cartridge. So this one can be done outside a mission environment. It's actually setting up a lot of things aside from, so there we go. If we want to have more threat steer points, we can actually have more. No, sorry, those are steer points. Those are the actual navigation steer points. So from 1 to 24, because 25 is the bullseye. Then we've got the targets. If we got specific targets, it's not the case here. we've got the lines. So line 1 is going to be the box where we have the tanker. So the threat 0 points, as you can see, the list here is full. And the type of SAM system, PPT management, we don't want to change that for now. You can edit the ring for each type of threat that you want to have. The IFF codes, I don't want to change that because definitely is being predefined from Falcon. Then open for the hard points. All right, EWS is the electronic warfare system. This is basically, it's easy here to actually change that. You can load some preset stuff like this one, for example. I'm not going to do it, but you can load some presets. And you can change the behavior of your chaff flare programs here. And this is going to be basically loaded up each and every time on your profile for every mission. This one is a global one. It's in your main profile. As you can see here, maxwell.ini is going to be in your main profile. So you can change those settings here manually, and you can even insert comments if you want. MFDs, this is the setup of the MFD pages, for example. I can load a preset one that WDP is actually offering me, and I can change other things. And those ones are not implemented. Those are for the MFD 3 and 4. But for 1 and 2, those are the ones you want to change. So it's going to be reflecting the layout of the MFDs for each master mode. So air-to-ground, air-to-air navigation, and then the override modes like missile override and dogfight overrides. And then you will see the different layouts that you will have on the MFDs. Once you've got that set up correctly and as you like, then you can hit the save data cartridge. The tick box here is going to be whenever you change to the master profile, the left and right MFDs will actually select this page as the first one to display when you change the master mode. So this is important to know that what the checkbox is. Then radio navigation used to be very useful before. Now I don't use it that much. The only thing that I would be using is probably preset the TACAN, for example, and then the ILS. So I want to, for example, preset the ILS in my data cartridge, and I would click here, use, and all of those things, because it's important to have those here. Not going to go over it. This is for the VRP profiles. Those are the settings that are actually preset in the DT if you go in and check a specific profile for attack, depending on the type of attack. Then different systems presets. You can actually influence them if you want to have a ramp, taxi, takeoff preset on the systems, what will be pre-selected when you load up Falcon. The laser code in terms of TGP and all of that, that's important, and that's something you should probably keep in mind when you want to change it. Weapons, same thing, as we had in DataCard, you can actually preset those differently from your general profile perspective. Now, what do we have? Performance. Performance is something you can change. It's usually preset when you load up a campaign mission or a TE mission. It will take the temperature, the departure runway, and the QNH, and will calculate the optimal ranges of speed, angle, and then what we had on the data card, like rotation speed, liftoff speed, refuel speed, and the load factors, for example, and the type of plane. So it will always pre-calculate, and you can change some of those values, and it will actually influence the results of what speed you should take for the climb and everything like this. So again, nice to have, and if you know how to, I would say, put yourself around those information, you can actually influence the fuel consumption in the calculation chart that we have in the data card. Then comes those things. I'm not going to go over it today because I need to spend more time on understanding all of those concepts. What you need to know is that we have three types of profiles. So the pop-up profile, the high altitude delivery, and then we've got the toss. So those are different type of profiles that we and for different type of attacks. So when you're going to go and do a bombing on an area, then you would need to select what type of profile maybe you want to use, and it's going to display something very specific within your HUD, because it's going to display those waypoints that you need to take when you need to pull up, when you the offsets that you need to take and aim for, and all of that is going to be pre-calculated and showcased in your HUD when you're going to pass over the ingress point. So this is very important. You probably want to define things according to what you want. And as you can see, I'm not going to go very in details for this one, but basically it depends on the type of profile you want to have. So you can influence on the altitudes, the dive angle, the speed that you're going to have, the G you're going to pull, the turn of two targets if you're going to do your left or right turn, and the angle, the attack heading. So basically the end attack heading that you want to have, and it's basically going to give you here the offsets and waypoints. So for the VRP point, the pull up, and then the offset points that you need to follow in order to have the perfect profile for to attack the target. So the pop-up is probably the hardest one because you will have a lot of things to do um, uh, in order to stay safe and close to the ground, and then attack quickly the target and get away. The toss is from a distance. Basically, you're going to pre-calculate, pull up, um, then keep the angle so the bombs will actually hit the target with the profile and the speed that you have, and then you can escape at distance the target area, so you can stay at least a safer distance from the target area. And then the high altitude bombing, well, it is what it is. Basically, you're targeting a point or a target from high altitude, and you want to have the perfect profile to release your bombs. So this is always something interesting to have and to pre-plan, but that's something different, and that we're not going to go over today because it's going to take a lot of time to explain in the concepts and information. There is a bit of documentation that is available over the internet, especially in the Falcon manual. You can already have some of those information, and if I find information, I'll post it either on the Falcon Lounge or maybe on the comments on that video. And then the two last tabs are actually interesting. It's just to reflect the type of threats that you have. It's like the tactical reference you have within Falcon, except here it's within Weapon Delivery Planner, so you don't need to be in Falcon to actually check some of the information you have on some SAM systems or radars, AAA, so mostly air to ground. And same for the munitions. It's going to showcase the type of munitions that you want to use, high drag, low drag, cluster, guided, and give you information. And you can also pre-calculate some of the ballistic for those weapons that are mostly suitable for the type of attack that you want. So in a nutshell, this is how you would go for in Weapon Delivery Planner. There's a lot of things that are very valuable when it comes to preparing mission. To be honest, on a daily basis, you would use the data card, the map, maybe a bit of performance if you really want, and you would spend time on it. So as always, keep that information at hand. It's always interesting, especially, for example, when you want to calculate the minimal fuel in the bingo. Take that information here as the minimum fuel. Usually, I take the rule, I would say a rule of thumb to pre-calculate the minimum fuel that I want, but it's always nice to have to see what is the minimum fuel that is WDP pre-calculating, because it's always close to what I usually have as a rule of thumb. So it's always nice to be able to check my own calculation on that through Weapon Delivery Planner. So I guess this is what wraps up the concept of what you can get with WebMW Planner. I hope it's been useful for you to get into it. It's a 30-minute video. It's going to be stay on that format because otherwise it's going to be too long. As always, I hope you enjoy the content. I don't hesitate to ask questions through the video or through the Falcon Lounge Discord or website. And then I hope you stay safe, enjoy Falcon BMS, and see you for the next episode. See ya. Bye.